Well, Winnie and I met first, became friends at church through women's Bible study. And I think we just started going to lunch together with Margie Dirksen and Judy Fox and Billy Weaver, and we just became good friends. And then we kind of branched out and had dinner with husbands a time or two. And I think the first time we really spent time together is we went down to visit them in Palm Desert. And we were going to just stay in a hotel, and because John and Ken didn't really know each other that well, and they insisted, no, come and stay with us. And so we did, and didn't really, I mean, Winnie and I were good friends, but we didn't know how John and Ken would hit it off, and they just hit it off great, and we had a great weekend and went to the Bob Hope Classic together and every day, and just laughed and had so much fun that we've gone back every year for the last 10 years, I think.
We've never visited there with them that we wanted to come home. We always wanted to stay longer. We're talking just the other evening about when we got indoor plumbing when we were growing up, and you know, it was surprising because I think I was without indoor plumbing the longest. Everybody goes, "Why? You got to be kidding! You were that old before you got indoor plumbing." So we kind of come from the same stratosphere in terms of our socioeconomic lives, and it is true that Ken and Winnie are just real people, and they've earned everything they've got the old-fashioned way, and it makes them even better friends.
We were all together when John got his hole-in-one, and we were together when Winnie got her second hole-in-one. And Ken and I haven't had one yet. But.
That was funny. When Winnie got her second one, Ken had hit an errant shot over into these trees, and he was in the trees and watching this ball hit the green and roll right into the hole. And I can't remember what he said, but it probably wasn't repeatable on camera, but it was funny. You heard the shout come out of these trees. Oh no, not another one. But, you know, in Italy, it got embarrassing at times. You know, Ken was trying to master the language. He was asking at one point how to go north, and he was yelling out the window, "Nordi, Nordi, Nordi." Well, that's not how you pronounce north. So the Italians were looking at these crazy Americans thinking, what does he want? You know? But we had a lot of fun. Probably the most trying part was when we did foul up the fuel in the automobile, and the tow truck came to take us to the place to trade out the cars, and there wasn't enough room up front, so Sue and Winnie rode with the tow truck driver, and it was one of those trucks where they put the vehicle on the back of the truck. So Ken and I were inside this car going down these streets in this little Italian village waving at the folks along the way. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, we even said, you know, when we were planning this trip that, you know, if there's a day you want to go off by yourself and we'll go do our thing, and you go have dinner by yourself and we'll have dinner by ourselves. But we never wanted to. We always wanted to be together, so it was really fun. We had a good time. We had lots of food, and tried all kinds of food and restaurants, and
in fact, that's probably what we do best together, is eat.
We go out to eat with him a lot.
We'd win contests if we could get people to go up against us.
We shopped. You know, we just had a good time. We laughed every night.
Our first evening was a thriller. Winnie had picked out a restaurant in Rome to have our first meal, and it had been written up in Wine Spectator, I think, and it was just a gorgeous place. And we had some communication problems with the waiters, and because we thought when we were ordering things that we were splitting them. And we thought that all the way through the meal until we got the bill. And we almost had to come home that night. I mean, it was a huge bill. But we laughed it off and went on. the only time we weren't together that I can remember is sometimes they get up early and go try to find a double espresso place. The coffee over there is a little different, and I needed real jolts. So I get a couple of those espressos, very small, tiny. So I'd need 2 or 3 of those before we would have coffee with breakfast.
Ken and Winnie are more early morning people than we are. So they were patient with us, though. But sometimes we would get up and go down to meet for coffee, and they had already been up and, walks a mile, taking pictures and doing all this stuff. And we're thinking, when'd you guys get up? But they were patient with us for not wanting to get up at the crack of dawn.
But it's nice when you have 2 older couples traveling together because you can't remember the day before. So if you're mad the day before, you can't remember it the following day. It was fun, and they're just fun to be around. And you're right, there is a little difference, but that's what's good about friends is you appreciate their different moods and their different situations, and we've seen them go through some tough times as well, and they've just been rock solid, good friends through everything, even when they were the ones going through difficult times, or if we were, they were just always the same. Ken and Winnie got us through some very tough times in our life, with a family tragedy, and they were here for us, and we'll never forget it.